All right. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining. Today is Tuesday, the 23rd of March. It's Claudia's birthday today, actually. Shout out to Claudia.
Happy
Um,
birthday, Claudia.
yeah. So today we have Dan Eskew, the best home inspector that I know out there. We've been go way back, been using Dan for a long time. Actually, since you first started your business, right? But I
Yeah,
knew you before then
yeah,
as a contractor.
yeah.
So that's how I know Dan. Dan's really good at what he does. And today we're going to be going over, the things that you should look at, the important things you should look at before buying your first home. And just for everyone out there who, hasn't gone through this process or kind of doesn't know how it works, is before you buy any real estate, you should inspect it. It's almost like going out buying a car, right, Dan? You go
Yes.
out, buy a car at the dealer. You should, if it's a used car, you should take it to your mechanic, have your mechanic check it out, or bring your mechanic to a dealer. Or if you're buying it off of Craigslist, for sure, right? You want your mechanic to show up. You pay your mechanic maybe, $100 for his time or something. So he could tell you if you should expect any issues from the car that you're buying. A house is the same way. You buy a house, it's going to be one of your biggest, if not the largest investment in your life. It's worth paying a home inspector, someone like Dan, to go out to the property and check it out for you and tell you, if you should expect any issues down the road. So that's why we're having this workshop. And Dan, I messed up, a long time ago, and I didn't have you go out look at this property that I bought.
Yeah.
I bought this property sight unseen. Long story short, within a couple of weeks, I knew I made a mistake, and I ended up losing $36,000 on that deal.
Ouch.
Yeah, I got rid of that property and don't own it anymore. It was like
Yeah.
one of those things that I realized pretty quickly, but it
Yeah.
could have been avoided if I would have, had you come out to the property and check it out, kind of like I do now.
Yeah.
And just so everybody knows, even if you're a real estate agent or real estate investor, you always want, someone's opinion of a property. And Dan goes out to all the properties that I buy, even though I could go in there and kind of have a good idea just from my experience, but I don't even leave that to chance anymore. Um, so Dan, welcome.
Yeah.
Thanks for being
Thank you.
on.
Yeah. Thank you.
Of course. So I'm going to pull up a report that you've done for us, and then you could just walk us through. And before we get started, is there any like advice or top few things that we should be looking at?
Well, the just so you guys know, when I walk into a house, the first thing I start to look at and to get a feel for is the structure. So I can tell what's going on with the house just by as soon as I walk in, I can tell if it has structural issues, and that will be really hard for somebody that's never been in construction. And then from there, it's the roof, the electrical, the plumbing. Those are the main things that will cost you money. So structure, roof, electrical, plumbing. Those are the big things that I really pay attention to. Like today, I did an inspection for a buyer, and he said the toilet seat was loose, and so I'm kind of like, yeah, okay, well, I'm really focusing on the big things. I'll put that on the report if you want, but all my time is really put forward to the structure, the roof, the electrical, and the plumbing, because those are the big ones.
Structure, roof, electrical, and plumbing. Got it. And then
So
so structure, does that include also like the foundation?
yeah,
Got
definitely.
it.
That's the main part. Yeah.
Cool.
So in other words, that's a 4-point inspection. So some investors just have me go in and do that type of inspection because they know that those are the high ticket items.
Okay, cool. And then, but most regular buyers, what they're going to do is they're going to have you just inspect everything, right?
Yeah. So I do inspect everything. So
Cool.
yeah.
Awesome. Well, that's good to know. So everybody knows that the 4 points, those are the most important things to look at. Dan checks that plus more. So this property, is this a good one to go off of? Richard Gomez and Murrieta. Um,
Yeah, I think so.
Is
Yeah.
there enough stuff in here? So so everybody knows what we're looking at. We're looking at a report that Dan provided a buyer of ours before buying a home.
You know what? Let me show you something that's super important. Go up to the second page real quick. Right there. See that stamp where it says California Real Estate Inspectors Association?
Yeah.
So for me to even get that logo, I had to take a test. And remember when I was flipping houses back in 05, 06, and I got my real estate license?
Yeah, I remember that.
The test to get an inspector's license was just as difficult. And I was already in construction. So the best inspectors out there will have this stamp. If they don't have this stamp, then they have another certification that took probably 2 hours online to get. So that stamp right there is super important to me. That's why I put it right on the second page.
Right. And that's actually, I'm glad you brought that up, because to be a real estate home inspector, there isn't really anything you need, right? I mean, I could just put,
Anybody can do it.
I
Yeah.
could print out a business card right now that says,
Yep.
Voltaire real estate inspections, but, and I don't have to go to any trainings or classes. No one overlooks this stuff.
There's no licensing, but there is certifications, and that company right there. Well, it's not really a company. It's started by the California. It's nonprofit. So they create the people that work there create a test that they put all of their inspectors through, and you can't even start taking the test until you've gone on multiple inspections with other inspectors right along. So that took me a good 2 years to get that stamp right there.
Okay, cool. So by the way, everybody, agents out there on the calls too, not every uh, inspector has this, by the way. So look for the stamp on your inspections. Just ask them, hey, are you part of CREA, CREIA, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so definitely that's important. Thanks for sharing that. Okay, so now I'll just scroll down. So this is a table of contents. When you buy a house, you're going to get a 80 some page inspection report. Roof, exterior, garage, interior, structural components, plumbing systems, and electrical systems, heating, central air conditioning, insulation, ventilation, built-in kitchen appliances. So there's a lot of stuff to go over.
Yeah.
All right, so you tell me where we should start.
Well, let's start right there at the roof. So on this one, slip tiles and leaking. So I fly a drone over tiled roofs because you can't walk on a tiled roof. You'll break it. You'll break the tiles. So on this one, I flew a drone over, and it explains. So do you see how the fourth box is checked right there? So that falls under the repair replace category. And then when we type something in red, I mean, that tells you we mean business. You got to fix this, or else you're going to have some problems in the future. And then here are the pictures from a drone that caught a slip tile there.
Got it. So that's your drone, and then you caught this. So if it was to rain, the water would just slip right in there.
Yeah, I believe this one was leaking too.
Oh, okay, cool.
The roof was leaking because of that.
Interesting. All right, so that could potentially save a lot of headaches down the road if the buyer knows about it now.
Yeah.
Then finding about it later.
And then right there, we're pointing that that's a water stain from that tile being loose up there. So not every home inspector has a drone. I mean, they're catching on, and not every home inspector has an infrared camera to show moisture. So I love latest technology tools. So I just bought some more the other day.
Okay, cool. Now we know what to get you for your birthday.
There you go. You can get me one of those right there, but those are about $600.
Oh shoot. Okay. So this is reading.
Yeah. So I'm doing multiple tests to prove to whomever's going to look at this report that there is absolutely something going on. That meter right there, the red light says, hey, it's wet. The infrared camera says, hey, there's moisture. and then the stain was obvious, and then the drone confirmed it. So, and I'm not trying. Actually, that was an easy repair to do, and I'll let your buyer know if it's easy or difficult. I think that's the one thing that I get a lot of feedback on,
Mhm.
is that I'll tell you how hard it is to fix it, if you should run or not. So a lot of things are really easy to fix. It's just a lot of people don't know how to fix them, so they don't maintain their house well.
Right. Okay, good. Okay. So now is that the same thing we're looking at here, the roof?
I think we're looking at some fascia board. Sometimes when I send the report, I like to blow the pictures up really big, and then what happens? It puts the wording on a different page. So there you go. So
Oh, right here, drainage systems, it looks
gutters
like.
so I put that on that particular house because there was a lot of moisture collecting at the bottom of the house.
Mhm.
So item 1.3 explains that this particular house should have some rain gutters.
Got it. Okay, cool. And then we have a question. What's the average life of a roof?
So if it's a concrete tile roof, the tiles will last about 60 years. The
Hmm.
paper underneath it, though, lasts about 25 to 30 years. So, what I tell people is if you want to get solar and your tiled roof is 25 years old, the solar company might want to put new paper under the area that your solar panels are going on. So the tiles will last 60, the paper underneath it about 30. A asphalt shingled roof, those last about 30 years.
Okay, cool. Thanks for answering that. And by the way, anyone's welcome to ask a question in the chat. Someone wrote, I thought a moisture sensor is for detecting moisture and IR sensor is good for detecting thermal leakage and adequate insulation. Sorry, I'm an engineer. LOL.
Yeah, so the thermal imaging camera detected some dampness, some cold areas. So it showed a blue circle on that ceiling. So therefore, water is cold. So it picked up that image, and then I second it with the actual moisture reader. So I scanned it with the infrared to find out exactly the location right there, took a picture, and then I put a ladder up and stuck my little moisture reader in there.
Cool. Yeah, thanks for explaining that. Cool. So if again, any questions, put them in there. Okay, we see another red. And that's for the decks, balconies. The backyard fence is damaged and weak.
Yeah, fencing is a kind of a difficult thing to put on reports because your neighbors should pay half of it. It's part of your neighbors too. So the wording there was very simple and quick. So, but that fence was pretty bad. So we had to say something.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Um, Here we're going into the garage.
Yeah, now we didn't bold this in red because we kind of knew what they were doing. They patched something. So what we're just saying there is, some texture and some paint could be a lot better than
Okay,
just a bare patch like that.
cool. And then you also mentioned the garage door does not operate correctly, right?
Yeah. So on that particular house, it must have been something wrong and we couldn't open that garage door.
Got it. Okay. Will not self-close. This is a safety issue. So this is a self-closing mechanism
Well,
for toddlers or animals, right?
well,
Pets.
actually, the comment above was that one. As you scroll
Yeah.
down, yeah. So as you keep scrolling down, so that comment right there is actually for this door right here that you're coming up to. So
Right.
it looks like the comments are getting spaced in the pages differently.
Mm,
It'll get spaced. That'll happen on different, like on a phone. The spacing stays a little better than on that computer there. But yeah, so what it's saying is the door to the house, it has to have a self-closing device. So that particular house did not. So that's the
right. And
occupant door from
and
garage.
this is for for potential fires, which I didn't know,
Yeah,
but it has to.
fires, carbon monoxide. So
So if there's an issue inside the garage or whatever, then it automatically closes the door, so it's harder to get into inside of the house, right?
yes, exactly.
Okay, cool. So that's good to know. Um, all right, and then how detailed are your pool inspections? We have a question.
Uh, I've I've gone through many classes about pools. I've owned 3 pools. I've done work on them, so I'm very detailed with pools now. So
Okay.
anybody needs a pool inspection, I'm there.
All right.
There's
Cool.
the only pools I don't inspect are the ones where they dig a hole and they insert a fiberglass shell. So, but those are pretty rare.
Hmm.
Those
Okay.
need, yeah.
And then if you do a pool inspection, would you just like if there's some issues with it, would you write down like a separate report, like what the issues are, with some type of estimate, or would it
Yeah.
be like you would want a pool guy to go out there?
So I can always do estimates, but yeah, the pool is an extra fee. I see that on that question, but there is a whole different section to the report just for pools, and I don't think this house had a pool here.
All right. Cool. All right. So,
I can always offer pricing over the phone. I just can't type something up and send it to you.
uh-huh.
So, but I'm always willing to give you guys some pricing over the phone.
Oh, you mean like some estimates as
Yeah.
far as like how much it would cost to fix the pool or
Yes.
whatever?
Hmm.
Got it. All right. Cool. And then there's an extra fee for for a pool whenever you.
Yeah, it depends on actually the size of the pool, but most pools are about $225 all the way up to $325 extra.
Cool. All right. Perfect. And then right here, the next one is flooring. So there's some loose tiles found around the master bath, and it's cosmetic, and it has a photo there.
Yeah, we found some loose tiles and they're eventually going to become looser and looser over time and fall off. So that's why we put that on there.
Okay. Cool. Awesome. All right. Everything else. Okay. We have doors. The entry door is missing door stop at the kitchen. This is maintenance issue. So
What is that? Oh,
there's
let's
no.
see. Oh, so then they keep going up. So that door stop is literally a piece of wood that should be nailed to the door frame. And if it's not, the door will just it will keep opening up.
Got it. Okay. Cool. I think nobody would have noticed that, right?
No,
No
yeah,
regular person.
yeah,
All right. All right. The next one window's broken, living room, sharp edges, needs replacement. So there's a broken window there.
yeah,
And then there's 2 windows that are missing screens.
yeah.
Okay. So you know, you're noticing on the cosmetic stuff for people as well.
Yeah.
Obviously they can't have it open and there's screens there that are missing. All right. Let's see what else we got. Everything else over here looks good. Roof structure, ceilings, columns, walls, plumbing system. All right, so let's look at this. The toilet is loose at the bathroom floor.
Yeah, loose toilets are a big deal. If so, what I mean there is it's loose at the floor, and every time you flush it, water seeps out.
Hmm. Okay, and then over time, it could create damage to
Yeah,
the flooring or to
yeah.
maybe the
That
downstairs.
floor, yep, yep.
All right, so you got
So
to take
now the
care of this.
wording for that one is above so the wording is always going to be above the picture. So it's the wording and then the picture.
Okay, got it. All right, so then the next one, it says the plumbing waistline under sink leaks at hall bathroom and master bath left sink. Repairs are needed to stop leaking water from damaged cabinet bottom to eliminate moisture and may contribute to fungi growth.
Yeah, so a lot of times the drains are leaking. So sometimes we have arrows pointing to the area, but we stopped doing that because we'd get a lot of calls back and say it's not leaking where you pointed at. So pretty much it should be a plumber that goes out there. And once a plumber sees all the pipes, he knows exactly where it's leaking at.
Mm,
But
okay.
sometimes we'll put arrows on there.
Yeah,
What we're doing there is
there's
we're
some
pouring
water.
water on the cabinet base. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right. The water supply valves are corroded and aged at all locations in except the home and the kitchen sink. So right here you're saying that all these are just
Yeah.
old and
All the
corroded.
valves, even under the baths and toilets, they're time to change them. So that's a big deal.
So these are set to explode any day now.
Yeah.
And even the gas one.
Yeah. Oh, that's to a little, that's to the refrigerator.
Oh, okay. That's the water. Okay, got it. Water pressure is high at water spigot. This is a sign the regulator no longer is working or an adjustment is needed. Regulators usually last 8 to 10 years with hard water deposits. So this
Yeah.
is a
So
water
that's a
regulator.
big deal. If you have high water pressure, you got to jump on that immediately. Because I've seen when you note deficiencies, do you also give estimates on repair costs? So I used to do that. And actually, home inspectors are not allowed to give pricing because the only person that can legally give a correct price is a contractor. So we have to refer all pricing to a contractor. Now, I know that's hard for every contractor to go out there and create a estimate, but if you call me, I can tell you how much money you should try to ask for from a repair. And there's also a secondary part in the report where you can create a repair list and add a monetary value to every repair.
Correct.
So yeah, give me a call. I can tell you exactly what it costs.
Cool. Awesome. And then we have another question for the foundation. Can you share with us some things that you look for to see if there are foundation issues?
So foundation major issues, you'll see cracks in the wall. So so if it's a slab on ground, you'll see cracks in walls. And that's where I start at. And then at that time, I try to feel the unevenness of the floor. And keep in mind, it's really hard to tell how bad the slab is cracked because there's usually flooring in place.
Right.
So, but I'm pretty good at that and I can tell if there's issues and I haven't been wrong yet. So
Yeah. Okay,
it's
cool.
kind of
So,
just getting a feel for the house and being in construction for so long, I just know when something's wrong. Like
so
doors not shutting right, cracked
doors jamming.
drywall,
So doors jamming, cracked drywall, maybe some
and
ceiling cracks, some
yeah, and the drainage around the house. You have to have your ground has to slope away from the house, or water's going to get under the slab. And then dirt's like a sponge. It swells when it's wet and shrinks when it dries. And it just moves the foundation up and down every time that happens. And eventually it cracks.
got it. Okay, cool. And then you show the water regulator here that's missing. A lot of houses, I don't know what your experience is inspecting them, but just me being at inspections, a lot of them either don't have regulators or the regulators aren't operating properly. So that's
Yeah,
kind of
so
a big deal, right?
regulators were not a building code until the late 70s, early
Mm,
80s.
got it. And by the way, a regulator just regulates the amount of pressure of the water coming into your house. That way it doesn't pop the pipes, right?
Yep, exactly.
All right, cool. All right, so now,
Yeah. So there's a question from someone.
okay,
So Spring Valley is the worst
for
area
foundation
for
issues.
foundations. So going down the 125 freeway, Spring Valley on the east and the west, more on the west side. So whenever I go to that area, I'm on high alert. I found more crack slabs over there. And a lot of agents know that. Voltaire, we've had many over there where I remember one where I kept saying, this concrete feels funny. And then finally we asked the realtor, what's up? And they're like, oh, yeah, we had foundation repairs. So it's like, okay, well, thanks for telling us, afterwards.
Right. Yeah, that could be a huge thing if you guys are
Yeah,
buying something with a crack.
Spring Valley area.
Spring Valley, Bonita, what else? What other areas?
Ada can be bad. So houses built between 1955 and I'd say all the way to 1980, 85, on concrete on the ground, you should be on high alert for foundation issues. Beyond 1980, they had engineers that would get involved with the construction of the concrete, making sure that the dirt was compacted correctly. So, because we started figuring out, hey, if our concrete cracks, our house is done. It's not really
Hmm.
repairable. It is to a certain point, but you're always going to have that label on your house.
Right. It's like having a salvage car, right? You're always going to have that salvage title,
Yeah, yeah,
even if it's fixed. All
yeah.
right.
Now, if they're raised foundations, they're much easier to fix.
Okay. Yeah. That's good to know. All right. Water heater systems or hot water systems. It says the water heater is past its life expectancy and is leaking. A replacement is needed. So this is
Yes.
a leaking
So yeah,
water
that
heater.
one literally had a leak at the bottom of the tank.
So does the homeowner not know about this stuff? I mean, are they taking cold showers or how does
So
one find
I
out?
remember that house now. It was a really good deal, but it was vacant, but the listing agent just didn't fix anything. And the buyer did back out of that house.
Oh, did they? Oh, shoot.
Yeah, you know, and I think he passed up a good deal, but it was the listing agent's fault because they didn't repair anything beforehand. And all those repairs could scare a buyer away. Even though I told him it could be repaired, it could be repaired. But
Yeah. Yeah.
he did find another one in the same area, and it was a nice house too. So, but I don't know the price of that particular one that he got.
Gotcha. Yeah, it happens.
Yeah.
All right. So,
So that's just us pointing out certain areas too. That picture below, it's showing you where
yeah.
your water shut off is.
Okay. So that's the water shut off. Um, okay. What's going on here with the,
That's just me showing you where the gas shut off is too.
okay. So it goes shut off.
Yeah.
Let's see. What else do we have here? Now we're getting to connected devices. So several three-prong outlets are loose and not secured in almost all rooms. Electrical issues are considered a hazard until repaired.
Yeah, so a lot of outlets were loose in the house. Yeah, that's even though it's a maintenance issue and it's pretty easy to fix. If it's electrical, we say it's a hazard because if you
Okay.
don't fix it, it could create a problem. And we type everything up. If light bulbs are out, we'll put it on there.
Right, because you never know whether it's a light bulb or an
Yeah,
electrical issue that
yeah,
isn't working right.
yeah, and yeah, certain light bulbs are extremely hard to get to, and so.
Okay, cool. There's light bulbs. Okay.
So there,
What? Go ahead.
anything that has electrical and is open like that, we put it on the report. So in the attic, there used to be a light connected inside, and they took it off and just left exposed wires. So can't do that. You got to have a cover plate.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Someone's asking if you do termite inspections as well.
No, I do not. That's only for the termite inspectors.
Got it. All right. So the next one, GFCI outlets are needed at the exterior and garage. Any outlet at a kitchen counter within 6 feet of water exterior or in garage needs to be GFCI. So do you want to go over the GFCIs with us?
Yeah. So a GFCI is a little breaker built into an outlet. And what it does, it shuts the power off a lot quicker at the outlet instead of waiting for the surge to go all the way back to the electrical panel and then finally tripping the breaker. So that could take up to 15 seconds, and by that time, someone could, not make it through that shock. So GFCIs shut the power off within a millisecond, and they should be located in all wet areas. And a lot of houses are missing those, so that's why we typed that up.
Gotcha. So the GFCI, so if someone's getting shocked, normally it would have to, the electricity would have to, like, if the box notices that you're getting shocked with a GFCI, it stops it immediately. Compared to the old school, you just keep getting shocked until the surge goes through the house, find the electrical box, and then it shuts it off. By
Yes,
that time, you're saying,
it could be too late for
good
most people.
luck. Yeah, gotcha. So GFCIs are important. Okay, so we have a GFCI next to water right here. That's what that
Yeah.
is showing.
Yep.
This is a GFCI in the
Yep.
bathroom or something, but this one does have a GFCI, it looks like,
Yeah.
right?
So what we're saying there is we tested that, and that one did not work correctly. So
Mm,
GFCIs can get old and stop working. So that's why we put that on the report.
got it. So this one is there, but it's not operating properly
Yeah.
right next to the bathroom
Yep.
sink.
Yep.
Okay. And here you're just showing us the electrical box.
So yeah, I saw a question, but I didn't get a chance to read it. Didn't quite.
Yeah, question is GFCI trips on a tiny current mismatch protection against shock. A breaker or fuse trips on overcurrent protection against overheating wires and fire. I think that's like I don't know, a definition somebody just posted in. There's not a question. Um, all right, good to know. All right, so this is this breaker box, right? And you're just showing us that you actually go in here and inspect
Yes.
this thing.
So yeah, showing you that I do open up the panel and take pictures of that.
Okay, cool. And then you opened it up right there.
Yeah. Just
Cool.
showing you that I do open up the panels.
You check everything. Cool. All right, smoke detectors. Downstairs smoke detector is aged and battery appears to have been removed. A replacement is needed.
So yeah,
So
showing that. Yep.
isn't this like everybody's house? Everyone just removes
Yeah.
this thing when it starts
Yep.
beeping.
Yep.
Yeah, carbon monoxide.
We
Here's a
show that it's in place. So we've had a lot of people tell us that there's no carbon monoxide because those are so easy to unplug and take with you if you
mhm,
move.
mhm.
So we make sure they're in place, and we prove they're in place right there.
Cool. Heating and central air conditioning. So you're showing the AC unit here, right?
Yes. We use so yeah, we in the fine print we do put the age on there. I believe this one might not have been working a little, but we always like to show people where they're, well, for instance, that's the compressor outside, and then there's a secondary part of the AC inside.
The disposable filter is clogged and is dirty. The filter needs to be replaced. Okay. So one of
Yeah,
the
that's pretty.
filters. All right. And then right here it says the ductwork needs to be serviced and cleaned. The heater turned itself off at the time of inspection due to excessive dust. Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I open up the heater, and right inside that air vent there, I can see how dusty it is. So if you ever heard of air duct cleaning, this particular one really needed it. And when they're real dusty, there's a sensor inside that won't let the heater light because of that. And that's what was happening.
Because it could catch on fire if it's too dusty. Is
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
got it? Okay. Cool. All right. Chimney. The glass door enclosure at fireplace and living room are missing handles.
Yeah. It was very hard to open that thing. And you could tell the handles were broken off. So that was a small repair.
Okay, cool. The platform for compressors is not level. This can cause damage to the unit or shorten the lifespan.
Yeah, so that thing was in that picture, it's hard to tell, but it was really slanted and the whole unit was slanted. So there's liquid that travels through there and it has to stay pretty level.
Cool. Let's add a little different another component to our review of this, Dan. How about for each little item, you throw out a number as to how much it costs to fix?
Something like that. you'd have to lift it up and put more dirt underneath there. So a handyman, probably, 1 hour of work. So you're looking probably about $125 an hour from a lot of contractors.
Okay, so about $100.
125.
How about this
That
low?
up there, uh, I would say at that time, those doors are ready to be replaced. So I'd say $300 for that.
Because you got to replace the entire
Yeah,
doors.
you're not going to find handles.
All right, cool. Good to know. All right, now we're looking at built-in kitchen appliances. Nothing to know, nothing in red. Okay, food waste disposer. The food disposer is noisy and rusted inside. We recommend replacing.
So that's
Okay,
about $250 right there to replace that.
and that includes
Yeah,
material
about
and
$100
labor.
to buy those. So it's probably almost $295 now for those because everything's gone up since COVID. So if you go to buy a garbage disposal now, it's like $175.
Hmm.
But it takes about 10 minutes to install one of those things.
And okay, so about 295 total, including.
Yeah.
All right.
The summary is just repairs. So you're at the summary now,
Mm-hmm.
and that's just repairs that need to be done. Nothing else in there. So a lot of agents just go straight to the summary because they're just worried about repairs. But the other part of the report, sometimes we put more items in there that explain how to maintenance some certain things in your house. But the summary is just repairs.
Cool. So going back to the summary, just repairs, just like the lightning round. How much for something like this slip tile?
Roofer to get up there, I'd say for both of those, I'd say $300.
$300. All right, cool. What about this stain?
And then the stain, you can paint it,
Cool.
$100.
$100. All right.
Gutters, gutters are
Gutters.
something. It's really hard to get on a property. So I would say that's at the realtor's discretion to say, hey, look, those are something that it's a luxury. But on this particular house, the dirt was slanted so much towards the house, I was worried about structural issues. So that's why I put it in on that one.
Cool.
But
Ballpark
gutters
gutters
for the whole
is
entire house like that could be about $1,500. Gutters are pretty cheap.
got it. Okay, cool. What about replacing a fence like this?
The fence, I say that whole thing needed to be replaced all the way around the entire yard. So at that time, you got to call your neighbor and say, "Hey, would you like to split it with me?" That could be like $5,000 right there.
Oh, okay. So that's a big ticket item. Okay, what about this?
That's just a
Paint, just paint or leave it
yeah,
alone?
easy paint job. So I would even let that go on a report.
Gotcha. Okay, so nothing there to talk about. What about the garage
The
door?
garage door did need some maintenance, so an hourly charge by a garage door technician, probably looking at about $150.
Cool. What about
That
this?
right there needs a special hinge. So
Mhm.
that hinge costs about 50, and to install it, another 50. So you're looking at $125 there.
Got it. Cool. What
Loose
about these?
tiles, the whole floor to me was installed incorrectly. So what we were trying to do there is say, hey, this floor could have issues down the road. I would try to, sometimes I tell the realtors, try to get at least some money for future credit, for future repairs. So that's a good line to use. We need some money for future repairs because we could tell this is going to fail.
Got it. Okay. What about this?
That's about $100 there because you got to buy the wood and paint it, and it would work after that.
Cool. What about replacing one window?
So the window, a window contractor probably charge about $300 for that window.
Cool.
It's just one window pane.
What about the screens? How expensive are screens?
Screens can get expensive, so you're looking probably $300 there
Mm.
for both windows.
Oh wow, yeah.
To set that toilet,
Yeah,
$150 from a plumber.
150 to replace the wax seal.
You have to lift the toilet, replace the wax seal, and put it back down.
Cool.
Angle stops, all those. The drains. Those drains were just loose connections. You can tighten those things up. So I'd say about $50.
Okay, cool.
All the angle valves, you're probably looking at about angle stops are expensive. They're about 50. They're about 20. About $15 a piece now. So that could get expensive. A plumber could charge you up to about $800, including parts for that.
For
But
all the angle
keep in mind,
stops. Okay.
those are the catastrophe areas right there. When those things leak, your whole house gets flooded.
Right. So it's worth the investment.
Yeah. And then the regulator's about $500. I'd say about $450 to change now.
Okay. That includes the regulator or
Yeah.
okay. All right. And then
You
what
know what?
about
I see
this?
the toddler. I would say the best thing to do with houses is they make these special outlets that you can actually access the electrical outlet a lot easier than just pulling off those safety blocks. So I know that's a lot of work to, well, actually they make covers that go over the outlet where you just slide it to the left or right, and then you can insert your outlet. And then stairway pickets, you know, the pickets that are in the stairs, if those are wider than 5 inches, kids can get trapped in those things and actually fall through too.
Oh, shoot.
Water heaters now, they can be as expensive as $2,500 to replace.
Wow.
Yeah. Plumbers are
Is
getting
that?
plumbers are getting expensive.
Oh, wow. Okay. So what's so $2,500 for to replace something like this one?
Yeah,
Got it. That sounds expensive. Yeah.
it is, but plumbers are, yeah.
All right. Electrical systems. So what about these three-prong outlets?
So a lot of outlets were just really loose, and loose outlets have loose wires in the box. So right there, we were just saying, hey, you need to tighten up all your outlets.
How much you think an electrician will
Like that,
charge
you'd spend about 2 hours doing it. That could cost about $200.
plus the material?
Well, the outlets were good. It's just
Oh,
really loose on the wall.
they need to open them up and then tighten them and then
Yeah.
close them back together. Okay.
Light
Um,
bulbs missing, that's maintenance. That's easy.
easy.
Something like that. It's about $25 to repair.
Okay, cool. GFCIs.
GFCIs. One GFCI costs $20 to buy and about $75 to install. So that could get expensive there. So you're looking probably about $500 to fix those.
Got it to install brand new
Yeah.
GFCIs.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll go over some of this stuff. What about this?
Air duct cleaning. You know, I've never priced an air duct cleaning, but yeah, I've never priced that. That particular house, I usually don't find dirty air ducts, but that one was real dirty. So, you know, a service on a HVAC like that, I'd say about it's under 500.
Under 500, they'll maintenance the
Under
whole
500.
thing.
Yeah,
Get it
right
going.
around 500 to clean all those out and to service it.
Okay, cool. We already went over
Oh yeah,
this. Okay, cool. So that was cool. Now we all kind of got an idea on pricing. So like you said, none of this stuff, I mean, it didn't seem like a big deal. So if the buyer's canceled and you said it was a good deal, then that kind of sucks.
yeah. It was just because that was in a cul-de-sac, and I was trying to explain to them that it wasn't too many repairs, but it did overwhelm them at first. So, you know, I tried to ease, some of the pain that I could see that was in his eyes about how much he had to fix. Yeah, that was the listing agent's fault. They threw that thing on the market too quick. They should
Got
have
it.
tried to fix them, especially that leaking water heater.
Right. Okay, cool. And then, so couple questions. What year built would you recommend an entire sewer scope? And is that separate cost from your inspection?
So I always recommend the Sewer Pros. And I was talking to the owner the other day, and you should definitely get a sewer scope on houses that have cast iron drains. And cast iron drains left construction in around 1968. But then he told me he finds more blockages in pipes on newer homes with plastic drain lines because people clean out their concrete, their paint inside these drains. And he said, you know what? I know he's trying to sell his business, but he said you should get a sewer scope on everything. And I was at, no joke, a $3 million house the other day with these guys. And they had a painter in the house and he cleaned out his paint in the kitchen sink and clogged the drain. And we didn't know it. We ran the water for a certain amount of time, but the clog was so deep, it took a long time for the water to back up. And he found it, and thank God, because I could have got in a lot of trouble if we didn't wait for that to fill up. So they're about $250 to get a drain scope, and I'm about $500 to get a home inspection. So that's $750. And you're buying a house, there's no house that's cheaper than $500,000 here in San Diego now. So you're only spending $750 to inspect a house worth $500,000. I think that's well worth it.
I agree. Yeah, we just did an inspection on a house that I'm buying, a sewer inspection, and the owners ended up giving me 10 grand because we did find some issues with the cast iron that needs to be replaced.
Yeah.
So if it wasn't for that, $200 some inspection, I mean, it would have cost me a lot of money.
Now, I don't own a sewer camera. The best ones are about $7,000. And I've had some friends buy some cheap ones that are home inspectors, and it got stuck on one of my friends, and he had to jackhammer out the floor to get it out of there. So
Oh shit.
I leave that to the plumbers and to a company called the Sewer Pros.
Cool. Good
Frankly,
question there.
Frankly, you know what? It really is a messy job. I mean, you think about where you're putting that camera. So, yeah, you got to really take precautions in cleaning all your parts. So I opted out and not to do that.
All right. Cool. Yeah. No, that's thanks for sharing that. Are forced air systems required to have air filters?
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
If not, you're just bringing in the dust from outside and putting it right back into your house, but really blowing it all around.
Right. And the question I think you already answered for families with toddlers, any safety repair recommendations? And you said the staircase, how many inches do they have to be?
Today they have to be 4 inches or less.
4 inches or less.
But that didn't start until the early 2000s. So there's a lot of houses with wide staircase pickets.
Okay, cool. And then the other one you said had to do with GFCIs.
Yeah, so there's some outlet cover plates you can buy at Home Depot that are much better than those little plastic things that you stick in there. So I would say definitely that and the stair casing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. What questions do you guys have for Dan, the home inspector, while we got him on right now? You could ask about a property you're looking to buy, or if you're an agent, property one of your clients is buying right now. Any other questions? Is there anything we didn't cover, Dan?
No.
I know we've seen a Harrier report before. This one was actually pretty clean. Didn't have many items.
Now, yeah, a lot of home inspectors reports are very difficult to read. I think ours are pretty easy to read. They're pretty straight. And the template that I use is required in Texas. So Texas is they probably have the most laws when it comes to home inspectors. And that particular template was created by the state. So I use that same one, and a lot of other home inspectors use that too.
Okay, cool. And a question we have, if the roof doesn't have tile, do you change your drone approach to identify potential issues?
Yeah, so if it doesn't have tile, I walk on the roof so I get a better view.
Oh, okay. So you don't use your drone.
Tiles, it has asphalt shingles, and I can walk on that without breaking them.
Got it.
You can't walk on a roof that has concrete tiles. I mean, you can, and I know how, but if I break one, I'm repairing it. Plus, it's easier to fall off of those things. So I just turned to the drone many years ago.
That's smart.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Is there a possibility things might get missed by only using a drone? Have you ever missed something with just a drone?
So the drone can't get really close, or else it'll just crash into the vent pipes. So on concrete tiled roofs, we're looking for big cracked tiles and tiles that are slipped. So if the drone doesn't get super close, I can't see hairline cracks. But hairline cracks are not going to let water through. So it's always better to walk the roof. But I can tell you this, there's a lot of home inspectors out there that don't even have drones. And I don't know how they're inspecting concrete tiled roofs because they're not walking on it. So what they're doing is just going in the attic and looking for leak signs. They don't get to see any part of the roofs. So that worries me.
Yeah, I think it's a good approach you're using.
But yeah, some small cracks can be missed from the drone.
Cool. All right. Any other questions before we wrap this up? Again, the whole point today was just to, find out exactly what you should be looking at whenever you're looking to buy a home, or your clients are looking to buy a home, or you're an escrow. We have a question. Have you ever run across illegal room additions?
All the time.
Yeah. What percentage of homes in San Diego do you think have illegal?
Oh man, there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
I'm guilty.
Just
But
don't give out your address on this.
yeah, but I could tell you if I can walk into a house and I can tell you if a professional contractor did the work or a poor contractor, and even a professional contractor sometimes doesn't get a permit. So illegal room additions still can get permitted through the city. It does cost some money, but yeah, it happens all the time.
All right, cool. Yeah, we see a lot of those. If the roof is leaking, what underlying conditions do you look for?
So when I'm in the attic, that leak will come right through onto the wood sheathing, and that's where we'll find it. And then eventually it could go into the insulation and then into the drywall, and then you have a big mess. So that's how we look for those.
Okay, cool. And then let me see, nothing else. I think we got all the questions. Yeah, it's one of these things where a lot of these questions come once you're actually inspecting the property you're looking to buy.
Yeah.
But as you can see, we went through the list of how much each repair would cost, and it was like a bunch of small stuff that could scare people, like they did in this case. They canceled this purchase and they bought something else. I mean, I don't see anything in there worth, you know, being afraid over or canceling over. But again, I think it just comes down to actually knowing, how easy some of these things or how inexpensive they could be to fix, right?
Yeah.
So all in all, I think we counted on this house alone. Maybe we counted maybe $4,000 to $5,000 worth of work. The largest one was the water heater,
Yeah.
$2,500. That's 50% of it right there. So,
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, we're about to shut this thing down. Dan, thanks a lot for jumping on. I know it's late. And thanks to everyone who participated. If you have any further questions, you can reach out to Dan directly. We'll give you his information.
Yeah.
And that way he could answer any of your home inspection needs.
Yes.
Cool, Dan.
Alrighty,
Thank
guys.
you.
Talk to you later. Thank you.
See ya. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, fellas.
All right, for sure. Thank you. Thanks for